one.
Hey everyone, my name is Lori Carter. I'm a certified medium, healer, teacher in Casadega Spiritualist Camp, and Reverend Dr. Lewis Gates got me up here today. Today I again am going to give you another installment of some of my blogs that I've written in the last 3.5 years. And what I hope to do with this is try to get a little bit of conversation going on, talking about the things that I wrote about. And so if you don't know this, I've been a freelance writer for 25 years for newspapers and magazines. So I do kind of consider myself an inspirational writer in some ways. And so I decided to do something different today. I'm going to read you my first blog, the 1 year anniversary, the year anniversary first. So the first blog that I ever wrote about was the Sunday service here at Colby Temple. And I love the Sunday service here. I'm not sure how many people have been to the Sunday service, but it's a beautiful service. There are 3 parts to the service. The first part is a healing guided meditation. And then we have our speaker who comes up and talks about a topic. And then the speaker, if they are a medium, will come back up and give spirit greetings to people in attendance to prove the continuity of life. And I love this. If the speaker is not a medium, the pastor will provide a medium. It's always part of the service. And the first part of the service, to go back and reiterate, is you can also have hands-on healing in the back by camp certified healers. Beautiful, beautiful time. And if you have not come to the Sunday service, please do. And so, see, I decided I just wasn't going to read that verbatim because, I mean, we all know what Sunday service is. And I did include the principles of spiritualism. And I am going to recite them right now for you because, you know what? I really believe that a lot of people are spiritualists and they just don't know it. And so we believe in infinite intelligence is the first one. The first principle. And so for me, what I want to know from everyone here, what do you think infinite intelligence is and what is it to you? What? Okay. Anyone else want to? Go ahead.
It's all that is.
Good for you. Anyone else? And see, I believe what infinite intelligence is whatever you believe it to be. You know, because we do not have a dogma in spiritualism. We gather around these 9 principles, and I'm going to say most of them are pretty self-explanatory. Number 2, we believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. We believe that the correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. Number 4, we affirm that the existence and personal identity of the individual continues after the change called death. Number 5, we affirm that the communication with the so-called dead is a fact scientifically proven by the phenomenon of spiritualism. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the Golden Rule. Whatsoever ye would that others should do unto you, do ye also unto them. We affirm that the moral responsibility of the individual and that he makes his own happiness or unhappiness as he obeys and disobeys nature's physical and spiritual laws. 8, we affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any human soul here or hereafter. And 9, we affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing contained in the Bible are divine attributes, proved through mediumship. And as I said, I do believe a lot of us are truly spiritualists and we don't know it. So I'm going to say go to casadega.org, check out our website, check out who we are, and see what your belief is. All right. So, and that blog was from November 2018. And you can find my blogs on fromtheethers.com. So the next one is from November 2019, And the title of that one was Crawl Out Anyway. I was having a moment the other day when a friend asked me if I had heard the crabs in a barrel story. I'm like, no, never heard it. She shared the story, which made me feel much better about situations. Situations, you gotta love them. We all get in a mix of them one time or another. I got home, looked the story up, and was in awe of the many versions. I like the crabs in the bucket version best. The story goes, a man was walking the beach and saw another man fishing. As he neared the fisherman, he saw the bait bucket with no lid. A bit closer now, he looked inside to find it filled with sea crabs crawling on top of one another. The man wondered again about the lid and asked the fisherman, why isn't your bait bucket covered so the crabs won't escape? The fisherman replied, if there is a single crab in the bucket, yes, it could escape. However, since there are so many, if one tries to crawl out, the others grab onto it, making sure it can't escape so it will meet the same fate as the rest of them. Is this true? Who knows? But the idea behind it sometimes rings true when dealing with other people. Do not let other people pull you back into their chaos. Don't buy into it. Do you regardless what others think. Keep crawling out. Strive to improve yourself, raise your vibration. Be a dreamer, a go-getter. Don't stop until you reach your goals. When we make efforts to improve ourselves in situations, others who do not may try to drag us down to share their fate, just like the sea crabs. Instead of getting pulled back down, rise anyway. Rise above it, keep going, set goals, and continue to grow regardless of those around you. It can be difficult at times, but you can do it, and so can I. Don't buy into other people's reality. And finally, it's none of my business what other people think of me. And that goes for you too. Yeah. Blessings of peace and love. And I love this one. I was so happy when I saw this was the first year anniversary of my blog. Because, and as I'm thinking about it now, it's really tough sometimes to keep the chaos out. But, to go inside is the way that we can do this. To try to stay centered and at peace with our own beliefs. And you know what? If some things continue to be a distraction, maybe it's time to change who you're hanging out with, where you're hanging out with. Just something to think about. Any thoughts on that? Anyone?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Reverend Don. I love you.
Well, if I'm hearing this right, the crabs in the bucket, they don't want to be there. So if they can crawl on each other's shoulders, the first one gets out, then he makes a makeshift ladder to get the other one out. So instead of wallowing there together, they can all escape.
And that's exactly right, because you know what? Instead of, being dragged back in, pull everyone out with you. Exactly. Thank you, Reverend Don. Anyone else? No? Alrighty, so the 2-year anniversary of my blog, November of 2020, Seeing is Believing. This blog marks year 2. Where did the time go? Better yet, what is time? Time seems to stand still in Casadega Spiritualist Camp. It's definitely the energy here. No doubt about it. Mediums have been working with the spirit world in this area since 1894. I love the energy here. It's why I started the Phenomenon Circle at Slater House. Mrs. Slater, long ago, on the higher side of life, always gets a greeting from us, and we arrive. Last week, I had a student sage and say prayers to ready the room while I took care of other business in the kitchen. Minutes later, we took our seats and waited for others to arrive. I smelled the air and said, that does smell like white sage. It doesn't smell like white sage. It smells more like cedar. The student agreed. Now, how does that happen? My best guess is Mrs. Slater preferred it and made it happen. we shared with the others when they arrived. 2 weeks ago, we could hear Mrs. Slater in the kitchen, and this is up at the Slater house, just so y'all know, on Chauncey Street. And so we heard Mrs. Slater in the kitchen, perhaps making spaghetti, as one student smelled, and later doing the dishes. We all heard the latter, which makes a true phenomenon. We have seen spirit lights on one another and throughout the room, and have heard raps and what sounded like rustling in the corner. Last week I looked down toward my chest and saw spirit lights. Very cool. Last year the Slater house was gifted with thick curtains, the ones you'd find on a stage. Not a peep of light can see through, which is a definite plus. We sit with the red lights dimmed. To raise the energy, we have fresh flowers, and last week we sang. Spirit enjoyed that. Raise that energy. Most times we'll talk about phenomena that has occurred in our lives. Spirits pile in to listen. Around Halloween, the Spiritualist Camp had a fundraiser called Spirit Crawl. Groups of 10 went to several buildings to explore phenomena. My daughter and I took one group, and the Slater house was our last stop. Lots of phenomenon happening in there. Toward the end of the time, I spied out of the corner of my eye a blue light shaped like a wand, just over a foot high on the door that leads to the library. It was pretty amazing, and most everyone saw it. Mrs. Slater showed herself once again at a healing class I attended a couple of nights ago. She was in the kitchen. I first smelled coffee and asked if anyone could smell it. And yes, they could. And then peanut butter cookies. Yum. I just checked with the camp elder to confirm that Mrs. Slater was not a medium in this organization, although a spiritualist. Her grandfather was one of the first to settle here. It was his request that no grass grow on the front lawn, but only flowers. The elder said one could smell the flowers several houses away. I also learned that Mrs. Slater enjoyed cooking, and her specialty was, you guessed it, cookies. I love it. I like to believe phenomena happens everywhere, and I have witnessed it in other places. I do believe it definitely occurs just a little bit more here in Casadega Spiritualist Camp. Yeah, and there we go. Yes?
So when I first came here, I would go visit Miss Slater, and she had a busy thing going on. She would take the seed pods from the flowers that on the front, and she'd put them up on her sink, that side thing, that white thing, and she'd dry them out. Put it into a mason jar, and then she'd grow them again next year.
Nice.
And you notice this year, they're growing just fine. It's really cool how she does that.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Alrighty. And so this one from November 2021, and I have to say, I do this as a weekly blog, and sometimes I'm a little off, trying to search for something to write about. And so the title is Fluoride It Is. This marks the 3rd year I've been posting this weekly blog. I have enjoyed writing them and hoped they are enjoyed by you. I came up with the idea last month to read some of my blogs at Sunday Lyceum, also known, I've been doing this since 2021, Lou? Let's see. I started reading some of my blogs. I lost my place now. This is what happens to me. And so I came up with the idea last month to read some of my blogs at Sunday Lyceum, also known as Sunday School here in Casadega Spiritualist Camp. I'll be at it again this Sunday. It's been interesting taking a glance back. After reading quite a few of them, I wondered what I haven't covered, and it came to me. I brought this beautiful multicolored piece of fluorite from a shop in Edgewater. I spied it the first time I was there, but this time I had to know the price. The 4-pound beauty resting spot is next to my half geode the size of a large melon. The crystals are between and off to the side of my reading chair and the client's chair. The fluorite changed the whole vibe to my reading area. I forgot it was there and then realized later in the day. I felt like I had a new guide assisting with me in my readings, and perhaps I did. When I was at the shop, I was told fluoride helps with bones. Oh, so I need that. And then I was told it helps clear negative energy, another definite need. Sage is still my go-to though. The card that came with it states, fluoride is a protective and stabilizing stone useful for grounding and harmonizing spiritual energy. Fluoride heightens mental abilities, assisting in rapid organization and processing of information, and can bring mental clarity and stability to an otherwise chaotic situation. Fluoride absorbs negative energies for the environment. And I also bought a couple of bracelets, one blue and white sodalite and the other purple amethyst for myself and my daughter. She chose the purple and I knew she would. When I saw the bracelets, I instantly thought of the wooden rocking chair on my porch. I spray painted them blue closest to my door and purple closest to my daughter's door. You know what else I brought for myself? Gray fuzzy slippers. If I haven't mentioned it before, my place gets chilly in the winter. My apartment building came around in 1896, I believe, or 1926, I believe. No insulation here. I showed my daughter and she shared she just bought slippers herself and they were the same kind. I love that. I might just buy a television, not that I watch it much, but it sure would be nice to have a big screen bigger than my laptop. Oh, and then maybe a couch, if I could only fit it in somewhere. It's odd doing for me. I kind of like it. Give yourself permission to do for you. It's easy to forget sometimes. Yeah. Alrighty. And so here we go. I actually, the ladies at the door passed this out, part of this out too. I talk about ascended masters one time. There are quite a few of them, to include Buddha, Lady Master Nada, Kuan Yin, Enoch, Sanat Kumara, Mary, Mother of Jesus, and Saint Germain. Ascended masters are those who once existed on the earth plane, learned their lessons in life, and fulfilled their divine plan. So let me ask you guys this. Do you believe that you are ascended masters? Is there any part of you who are an ascended master? And you don't get to answer that, Reverend Don. In spiritualism, we believe in 9 principles. The first is we believe in infinite intelligence. As a spiritualist, I believe that infinite intelligence is an ascended master. Is infinite intelligent God, the creator of the universe? Infinite intelligence is what you believe it to be. Also in spiritualism, most people believe that Jesus was the greatest healer and prophet that ever existed on this earth plane. The spark of God is within each and every one of us. Does this mean that we are ascended masters? And perhaps on some level, pointedly, the higher self. Meditation can assist in reaching the higher self. We could also do so in sleep state. Remembering in our conscious state of being is not always the easiest to achieve. There is a subconscious level though. Have you ever awakened in the morning and you just knew the answer to something, as if you were working on it all night long while asleep? I have. Where did that answer come from? I'm truly fascinated with Saint Germain. It was said that he has or had many magical powers, to include the ability to teleport, levitate, walk through walls, and to inspire people through telepathy. Now, wouldn't those be great gifts? Wow, right? After the so-called death of Helen Petrovna Blavatsky, a Russian author who co-founded the Theosophical Society in 1875, the society considered Saint Germain a Mahatma, master of ancient wisdom, or adept. Have you ever put the white light around yourself for protection? That white light comes from within, that spark of God. I have said the following nearly for more than 10 years, and I'm not going to say all 3 of these, but you have them for yourself. It's the tuba light, the wall of blue flame, and the violet consuming flame. And I know on the handouts it does say Saint Germain Foundation. It actually came from the I Am books by G.R. King, just so you're aware. So, are you an ascended master or not? Today, I believe our higher self is an ascended master. The tricky part is retrieving the information when we come back to ourselves here in the 3D, believing the information received and sharing it. Thoughts to ponder. And you know what? I feel like one of the teachers here actually read my blog and posted on Facebook that they did, and he said he was going to use this. And you know what he told me? And it's true. We're all ascended masters in training. I like that idea. Alrighty. Anybody want to say anything about any of it? Okay, awesome.
You got someone online that says words of wisdom.
Oh, well, that's sweet. Thank you, Coquette. And so here's another one that I have written. Let's see. I didn't leave the title on this one, my bad, everyone. A couple of questions from people who visit Casadega Spiritualist Camp that rank right up there. Where's the cemetery and the devil's chair? A fun response would be, we don't need cemeteries because spirit just walks about freely doing its own thing. Seriously though, there are no cemeteries in Casadega Spiritualist Camp. There is one just a few miles away in Lake Helen. I drive by it on occasion. Some of the gravestones are super old. I like the feel of cemeteries. Some people get spooked by cemeteries. When I was a teen and stayed at my cousin's house, we used to go to the cemetery late at night. We'd always get scared and run through it like there was no tomorrow. Some things never change. A teenage girl called yesterday, first at the bookstore while I was nearby, and then on my phone when I was downloading videos in the Welcome Center. She said she felt the spirit was around her and she picked it up from the cemetery. Her mother thought it was a relative who recently passed. After a few words of wisdom, I said, tell spirit to go home and mean it. I have the know-how when it comes to cemeteries and spirit. One time, and here's the backstory, one time the family, daughter, her father, and I went to a cemetery for a service. We turned our back for a split second and our daughter disappeared. Her father ran through the cemetery only to find her talking with spirit near a gravestone. She said they called me. I was just thankful to see her again. The next time we went to a graveside service, we forewarned our neighbor. That was fine, that this might happen. Another time, the family, to include my son from another mother, went to a mausoleum where our daughter had a vision of a man killing someone with a knife. Unfortunately, we could not determine if anyone's stored there had succumbed to this. I believed, though. And of course, there's the time Spirit came home with my daughter from a sleepover after reading divination cards and giving messages to her friends. I think she was 11 or 12. The next day, she wanted to sleep with me and her father, and I said, tell Spirit to go home. It must have worked. The teenage girl sent me a text later that night when I was teaching an online class. She asked if she should go back to the cemetery to apologize. I responded, no. Tell Spirit to go home and mean it. Remember that. Oh, and incidentally, there's no devil's chair in Casadega Spiritualist Camp either. And so I got a little smart with doing my blogs now, which I really put really cool photos on. And one day, I don't know, about a month and a half ago, I was taking a walk, and I had to go back to get my camera for this. We actually had 3 vultures on top of Kobe Memorial Temple. I thought it was kind of fun. The name of this trilogy of spirit. One never knows when spirits will show up to bring joy, happiness, and laughter. Stay open to it. I answered the phone to find that it was a potential client wanting to schedule an appointment. I said it was Gala Day and she might pick another Saturday. She sounded distressed because she couldn't find her engagement ring. I said, you called the right person. I love looking for lost items. I first saw what looked like a Navy sailor dressed in blues with a white hat, a Dixie cup, what they call it. I asked if she took a trip overseas. Turned out I described one of the crew on the cruise ship. I looked a little deeper and saw a brown dresser with knobs. She said she would look again. 1 hour later, she called to say she found the ring in the brown dresser with rings that looked like knobs. Exciting news. Once off the phone, I said, "Thank you, Spirit." And so I did 3 little short stories for this to do the trilogy. One of my neighbors and I had been comparing notes to sounds that go bump in the night. She called to ask if the people above me, which would be next to her, were in town. They were not. She continued that it sounded like a bunch of people talking and going into the apartment. As she said this, I had a vision of a group of ladies with Victorian-style garb chatting away. I shared with another neighbor down the road, and we decided they were getting ready for gala day. I love that. And finally, I was taking a drive with a friend, and we were talking about how things are getting back to normal for me after a small surgical procedure. I planned on joining a new gym when I got the go-ahead. I said, just because they said I can work out Monday doesn't mean I have to. Friend, who are you? I can't believe you just said that. I'm gonna crash my car. And I think it's great because I'm a big workout fanatic, you know? And so let's see. And here we go. And I had a little caption with the picture of Kobe Memorial Temple with the 3 vultures on. 3 vultures sit on Kobe Memorial Temple in Casadega Spiritualist Camp. Vulture teaches to use energy efficiently and gives the ability of clairvoyance. It is said vultures that sit on structures are protecting those structures. And I'm like, yay. 3 is associated with self-achievement, creativity, and self-expression, and things coming full circle. In astrology, 3 is linked to Jupiter, the planet of joy, abundance, success, good fortune, and wisdom. 3 is known as the number of harmony, considered the number of master builder, and represents divine intervention. I like that information. Were you going to say something? Just checking. So here we go. I have another story about the gravesite visit. Occasionally, I change my mind. I've always felt that it was unnecessary to visit gravesite. Spirit is always around us. We can talk with loved ones on the higher side at any time, and it's true. The other day, I set the intention to visit a good friend's gravesite. It's not like I hadn't been there before, 4 times now to be exact. She's been on the higher side for just over 4 years. The 3rd time I went, I think it was the 2nd time. The 3rd time I went, I left a dime and a penny, 11 cents. It's the master number of intuition. The coins were still there. I chatted about our business plans for the greater good. I know she's guiding me. I also chatted with her about the mate she is directing my way. Before getting out of my car at the cemetery, I found 11 more cents, this time a nickel and 6 pennies. The master number 22 is about being a master builder. We were building our business, and I continue with her help from the higher side. As I got into my car, I felt that I had the support and answers as to what directions to go. I slowly turned my car around, and as I was about to move forward, a hawk danced near the passenger side front window. It fluttered there for about 20 seconds. It's one of her animal totems. The 1-word Native American meaning, messenger. She wanted to be sure that I knew she was there, and I thought it was pretty amazing. Thinking to a future trip, another 11 cents equals 33, the master teacher number. That she was and continues to be. I have been teaching intuition development classes for several years, both in person and online. We shall see when those coins will be ready to drop. For today and moving forward, I believe setting the intention and then going to a gravesite can be a profound act on so many levels. It's okay to change your mind. Yeah. Oh, let's see, I actually bought a couple of extra ones in case I was running out of time, and so I think I might, actually there's only 2 left, so you guys are in luck, we have time. Getting in the dirt. I've been known to roll up my sleeves and fight for the greater good. I have no problem helping those who cannot or will not fight for themselves. I have always learned when to pick up that sword and when to remain still. And it might have taken me a minute to learn to remain still. Opening your throat chakra by speaking your truth is a good start. You say, I do speak my truth, which may very well be true. But how much do you swallow? Do you not say because of fear, which is a lower level vibration? I have been a reporter, a freelance writer for more than 25 years. Heck, one medium said that I was a reporter in a previous life. What a stretch that one was, right? I never really liked reading the newspaper because most of the articles were negative. Same with watching mainstream media. I haven't done that in forever, probably 10 years. I have worked to raise my vibration for many years and will continue on to the next plane of existence and beyond. The way we raise our vibration is to bring more happiness, more joy, more love, more peace into our lives. Remember how that feels? Play more. Connect with nature more. Ground yourself by walking barefoot in the ground and or building sandcastles at the beach. Getting in the dirt. Affirmations always help. I love myself and others the way I and they are. I bring joy into my life and to others. I offer positive solutions. I am a powerful spiritual being who can make a difference in the upliftment of the collective, the oneness of all that is or ever will be. Does it mean that I am perfect? No, it does not. Sometimes I find myself getting in the dirt, going into the lower level vibrational thoughts. I realize it and turn my attention to the positive. That's one big aspect to change, realizing behavior and going inside to adjust it. Good and less than good exist in everything because of the law of duality, which is a natural law. We live in the United States of America, so we get to choose. I prefer the higher vibrational side, which does not include greed, power, and fear. Who here wants peace, love, joy, and enlightenment? I do. I have always believed and hoped that the planet Earth would ascend into a higher state of being. We are in the Aquarian age where peace, joy, and love will prevail. When is the question? Guess what? Everything is in divine order. You may think your little bit won't help. That's not true. Every little bit does help, and we can raise the vibration together and set the intention of living peacefully with love and joy. Raise your vibration and assist others to do the same. Keep in mind that grass can grow in the dirt or not. Again, the law of duality. And when you first heard the title of this one, Getting in the Dirt, where did your thought go? To the higher vibration or to the lower vibration? No response? Okay. And finally, the last one, Listen is the title. Stop what you're doing, tune out the distractions, and just listen. Listen to the silence. No matter what is happening, there's always silence. Focus your mind, allow, and listen. Listening is an art that I have an ear for. It may have taken some time to find that ear, but I did. I did go through a period where I waited to respond. Doesn't everyone? And occasionally I still catch myself. No matter what is going on, I usually have a solution for any situation, and it doesn't take long for me to see the steps. Am I always right? No, but I do have options for solutions. I learned to be an intent listener through my freelance writing jobs. At one of them, which I had for 17 years, I did stories on people. Being in Lake County, Florida, a lot of times it was older people. I learned some pretty cool things from my elders during 30 to 45-minute interviews. Backstory: I was a freelance writer who picked up stories on centenarians. I always enjoyed hearing their stories. The oldest I recall writing about was 106. It was great to hear about the ways of the older days, dirt roads, outhouses, one-room classrooms, and the evolution of time. I love to hear responses as to why they thought they were still around. The fun ones were a piece of chocolate a day, a bit of sherry nightly, bacon, and a cigarette daily. But more times than not, they'd say their purpose wasn't completed yet, and that truly made sense to me. What is your life purpose? I feel I have many. To help others is tops on the list. I've done just that through freelance writing, listening to life stories, writing them, and ultimately sharing with the community they reside in. I believe I assisted them and myself in the process. Spend one day a month volunteering at an assisted living facility. Strike up conversations with older people. Your little bit of caring goes a long way. I continue to assist others as a psychic medium, healer, and teacher. I share with others through my blogs and books. Another thought of my life purpose is to work my own situations to heal myself and others around me. Perhaps we are all here to assist one another to heal. We must help ourselves first, though, so that we can help others. Stop and listen to your inner voice. Take a walk in nature, the park, the beach, the springs. Allow thoughts to flow. You may find your life purpose or expand upon it. The more you listen, the more you learn. Just be. And that is it. I thank you so much for... Does anyone want to talk about or say anything about anything? All right, well, thank you so much for your time today. Until next time, and have a great day and a great week.